evening. I will now call to order the special City Council meeting of January 12th, 2026. Members of the public are invited to attend in-person meetings in council chambers. Public access is also available by telephone by using the call-in numbers posted on the meeting agenda, and tonight's meeting will be broadcast on the city's YouTube channel online. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Leidy.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lukman Hiramasa. Here. Councilmember Burns.
Here.
Councilmember Severs.
Here.
Councilmember Kondo will be absent. Councilmember Roper.
Here.
Councilmember Goff.
Here.
Councilmember Nowicki.
Here.
Councilmember Leidy.
Here.
Thank you.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Manager Guyer, are there any responses to resident inquiry?
Nothing this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Nope, great. Okay, moving to public invited to be heard. This is an opportunity for public comment on any item not set for public hearing. Statements are limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Statements must be related to city business and limited to matters of community interest. City Clerk Small, is there anyone signed up tonight?
Yes, Madam Mayor, there are 4 individuals signed up in advance. The first person is Tom Lampo.
Welcome. Please state your name and address or ward and provide your comments to council.
Thank you. It's good to see everybody. It's 2026, pretty incredible. I'm Tom Lampo, 3951 Jackson Way. In a minute, I'll lead the city in prayer. For now, I want to say thank you to those that ran for office this past election. I also want to say thank you to those that served here in Northglenn and will not be serving in this capacity in the near future. You gave your time in hopes of making a better community for all of us. Finally, congratulations to those who were elected and re-elected to the positions you have. I believe it takes a lot to be in your positions, so thank you. Moving forward, for those that are before me, God wants you to stand and don't do things as politicians, but do them as child of God in political position. God wants you to be defined as children of God first and your jobs afterwards. He caused you to be where you are, so glorify his name. And now please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, I lift all of Northglenn up to you. We ask you to be here with us tonight and all the days we are here. You are the God of Northglenn, and you are welcome here. We want you here, and we want you to be part of our lives. Our elections are over, and the votes have been counted. Daniel 2:21 states, "It is he who changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings and establishes kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and greater knowledge to those who have understanding." Then in Proverbs 14:34 you state, "Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin condemns any people." You are the Lord and nothing escapes you. You have placed these individuals where they are to glorify your name. Keep our leaders from transgressing your word so our city is kept far from sin. Grant our leaders wisdom so they can be wise with their decision, understanding so they may have greater knowledge, and make their decisions to be right according to your word so our city will be exalted. You grant these gifts to our leaders so they can lead in righteousness. All glory be to you, because no one shall take glory from you. Father, you've given us 2026. It's an incredible time to be alive. The spiritual battle wages on, but you have already defeated our enemy. In our wisdom, we have strayed from you. Forgive us. This year, you want to prepare our hearts so we can know you. Your word tells us who you are. And in Exodus 20, verse 3, it states, "You shall have no other gods before me." Your word is clear. You desire complete devotion. Nothing before you. We fall short of this. Guide us in our devotion to you. Give us the helper you promised to guide us in placing you first in our lives. You are our God, and we are your people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you, guys.
Amen.
And have a nice night.
Thank you.
The next person on the list is Cindy Wander.
Welcome. Please state your name and address or ward and provide your comments to council.
I have letters for you as well. Do you want them? Hi. My name's Cindy Wander. My business is located at 11154 Huron Street in Suite 104. So I'm the owner of the business Wander Spring LLC. It's a counseling business. We see couples, families, and individuals and provide specialized services like animal-assisted therapy and couples therapy intensives. I've been located in Northglenn for the last 12 years, and in 2023, I bought that property that I named there. Wander Springs expanded recently to providing an internship site to train future therapists, studying at the University of Colorado. And last year, Wander Spring quietly provided 1,425 hours of counseling services to the community. This includes pro bono services and telehealth services. Spending most of our time in person with people at about 68% of our sessions being in person. Oh my. I'm not sure how to tighten that. Can you hear me okay if it's like that still?
Yeah.
Okay. So I came here tonight to talk with you about the recent implementation of the ordinance regulating the practice of natural medicine in the city of Northglenn. So it's of particular importance to my business because I've been pursuing licensure as a natural medicine facilitator. And the ordinance looks like it was passed in October of 2025, but I began my pursuit of that licensure in July of 2025. So there were no local regulations impacting my ability to begin offering the service at the time when I started my training. The upfront cost was about $11,500 to go to the training. And I am currently a facilitator in training, pursuing full licensure, and I have extensive continuing consultation for the rest of 2026. So I have a large investment in the practice and a hope to help the community with the service. So the main concern that I'm bringing to your attention is that the way the ordinance was currently written to regulate the time, manner, and place of natural medicine practice effectively rules out my business location. So I was hoping to offer a little bit of education about natural medicine practice for your consideration here. So it looks like to me that the same terms from medical marijuana dispensaries were actually applied to the natural medicine businesses. However, there's some key differences in how a medical marijuana dispensary would function and how a natural medicine business would function. I'd like to point out a couple of those to you. First of all, clients in a natural medicine session go through the entire process within the session. So they arrive, they ingest the medicine, and they stay until the effects of that medicine dissipate, at which time they take a safe ride home that was pre-approved and discussed. So the facilitators of a natural medicine session actually stay, supervise the client throughout the process, and ensure that they get into a safe ride home. That means they're not lingering, they're not loitering, and they're not unsupervised at any time in the community. It's very different from a medical marijuana situation where the person purchases their medicine, takes it with them, and then can take that medicine whenever they choose. So part of the ordinance talks about not being too close to homes or parks or public recreation centers. And that makes more sense, in my opinion, related to medical marijuana if you're wanting to ensure that that use is not happening close by to the dispensary, whereas in a natural medicine practice, the entire practice is contained within the session and within that actual facility, just like you would have at a medical facility. Another key difference is that natural medicine is used within a therapeutic framework to provide healing that's facilitated by highly trained therapists such as myself. So I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, a licensed professional counselor, and I've been in practice for 18 years, working with individuals and systems primarily experiencing trauma that entire time. Natural medicines like psilocybin are really promising and offer tremendous benefits for trauma survivors in particular. So you're thinking about folks who have PTSD, like our veterans, our first responders, our police officers, and those who suffered abuse in childhood. Those are all ideal candidates for natural medicine sessions. Natural medicine also offers help and hope for those with treatment-resistant depression, substance abuse disorders, and end-of-life issues. In a sense, you might think about natural medicine being an intervention that could prevent suicides in our community, and especially among our most revered and vulnerable populations. So I'm here tonight to ask you, the council, if you would reconsider opening the natural medicine ordinance up again and adjusting it to just match the criteria that are already established by the state. The state of Colorado has clear, detailed, specific guidelines that could easily be adopted by the city of Northglenn, allowing the community to have the service in a safe and regulated manner. I want to offer my expertise and compassion if you have any questions related to natural medicine, counseling, mental health, anything like that. I love being part of the city of Northglenn. I'm grateful to be here. And I'm really hopeful that you'll reopen the natural medicine ordinance and adjust it to match the state criteria so that my business can offer this service in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next individual on the list is Tim Long.
Welcome. Please state your name and address or ward and provide your comments to council.
Good evening. Tim Long, 10661 Utrillo Lane, Ward 4. I'm here this evening to talk about the budget, the 300-page budget. And I couldn't help but notice you're being presented tonight the revenue report for November of 2025, which shows you're under budget by $7 million, which to me is really nothing compared to what really you approve for 2026 with all your biases and different things that you like to approve. You folks are accountable to the people of Northglenn. I wanted to remind you of that. And also you are, in your own words, saying that financial transparency is very, very important to you. This city is committed to honest budget, responsible spending, financial transparency, openness, and accountability, which ironically is not the situation. I read 300 pages of the budget. As you might know, I have a background in finance, having been in hospital administration for most of my 40-year career, plus international finance, feasibility studies, and financial analysis. Northglenn has lost money for the last 3 years, and running into 2026, it's the same story. You have in your financial policies at the end of the budget, if you care to read it, on page 253 through 259, debt will not be issued to finance current operations. No debt for current operations. And yet on page 37 and page 41, you have debt issuance that's set forth. One at $16 million and another one at $23 million. And yet there's no citations, no explanations, no descriptions of this debt issuance. The types of debt that you're allowed to use are certificates of participation, general obligation bonds, sales tax bonds or notes, enterprise revenue bonds. None of these have been cited as the source of this debt issuance. And if you were to look at your bond rating, since the last one you had was in 2021, that bond rating is a BB minus, which, ladies and gentlemen, is one step above junk bonds when you're evaluating bonds. So you have no bond issuance. Revenues are less than expenses on page 36. In anybody else's world, if you have more expenses than revenues, that's considered a loss. The loss is $947,000. But curiously, there's no bracket around this loss. And I'm saying, is that a typo? Do people read this budget? Do you look at the details of it? Do you understand what it means? So your citywide summary on 2026 adopted budget, there's a deficiency, $16 million. But not to worry, on the very next line, debt issuance shows up at $16 million to cover this loss with an extra $360,000. Yet there's no explanation, there's no footnote given, there's no specifics to show what this is about. Moving on to the page 40, 41, citywide revenue detail. as adopted in the 2026 budget. There's debt issuance this time of $23 million, which curiously, when you add it to the $77 million you do have in revenues, 23 plus 77 curiously comes out to a perfect $100 million, which covers all of your expenditures. And you've thus balanced your budget. But oops, you still have losses of $164,000. So again, I call your attention to this debt issuance that's portrayed in this 300-page document. I'm just wondering if you folks really take the time to read 300 pages of the budget and understand all of its nuances. I'm very sorry for this, that you are presenting this as your 2026 budget when you are obviously over the line. I did read the Reader's Guide for Words. I looked for the glossary of terms. I noticed that it was signed by the mayor and supported by the legal counsel, but only to form, not substance. The city clerk's name is also on there, but she's there signing off to verify that she can notarize the mayor's signature. So thank you for your time. This is a very concerning element of our city, and more often than not, this will be presented as well in some of the local city publications. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The last person on the list is Melissa Ryan.
Welcome. Please state your name and address or ward and provide your comments to council.
Hello, Melissa Ryan, Ward 3. First, I wanted to come in and say Happy New Year. Good to see fresh faces, re-elected faces. Yay. Okay, moving on. First, I wanted to thank the construction workers that are working over at EB Rains Parks. Any of you that drive the area would possibly know, like, our blocks pretty much have one exit each. They've been extremely courteous to all of us that live on Lincoln Street to make sure with all their semi trucks and cement trucks and stuff that we're able to get in and out. They stop their trucks, let us through, wave hi to everybody. So kudos to them. I don't know the name of the company, but I wanted to give them attention because they're doing stellar work. And the skate park area looks really cool. The new seating for the kids. So it's gonna be great. Maybe they'll stop climbing the gazebos. On to concerns. I understand, like, with the extremely warm weather, a lot more people are still out. So EB Rains, like, people are walking their dogs and being very not courteous and neighborly, and they're not cleaning up after their animals. If you guys could maybe get somebody over there, like, it's looking really gross. It's all over the sidewalks and everything. Like, I would be more than happy to volunteer. I just don't have a pooper scooper to go around cleaning it. So there's that. Facility concerns. So as I'm sure you guys are all aware, there was a stabbing at the facility over the weekend. I run the Northglenn residents page, and I was part of helping with the facility and the protest to kind of get things in order when that was first coming to town 2 years ago. So a lot of residents kind of reached out to me, were texting me, messaging me, asking, one, they're concerned. Obviously, there's a stabbing now going on at the, I don't know if it was that exact facility or the one nearby it. I'm not exactly sure. But they were concerned about that, very concerned. They also said that there's trash overflowing, that residency is just not being taken care of. So maybe there's somebody with the transition facility you guys can contact and just ask them to please keep maintenance up for these people, security concerns. Also, I was personally curious if Jenny Wilford is still just ignoring us or if she's going to step up and help us to make sure in April that these pedophiles are still not allowed in, because I understand that the 2-year mark is very close. And if I need to get back out there and start protesting, issue ordinances or whatever I can do to help with that to make sure that doesn't happen, I would really appreciate some feedback there. Last concern was, as Tim said, the budget. Can we just stick to budget, guys? Like last year, some of us went 4 times over our spending limits. Some of us went significantly under. Unfortunately, some of those members are no longer here. So if we could just kind of stick to the budget and not spend 4 times over, maybe be mindful that the residents are paying for the meals and travel expenses and things like that. You guys are upping our fees and everything like that. So if you could be a little mindful that we, as your constituents, expect you guys to kind of stick to your $7,000. So that's all I have for you guys. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to council that did not have a chance to sign up? Yeah, come on up. Please state your name and address or ward and provide your comments to council.
You, Alan Parks, Ward 2.
Hi.
Mine shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I'd like to ask you guys' thoughts and opinions on noise ordinance in the city of Northglenn. 120th has gotten pretty noisy recently with some of the, the newer cars and a lot of the popping and sounds like gunfire in some cases. That's really kind of concerning. My house does back up to 120th, so I hear it consistently whenever I'm, sitting in my backyard. So would be interested if there's something that we could do. I've done a little bit of research online. It sounds like the city of Golden is maybe looking at some different ways of maybe monitoring it and being able to maybe even make it a ticketing type offense if it's over a certain decibel. So if that's something that you guys could look into, it'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Well done. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to council tonight? No? Okay. I don't think we have anyone on the phone. Oh, is there anyone on the phone who would like to speak to council? You can press *6 to unmute at this time. All right, hearing none, we're going to move into a youth commission interview. We would like to invite Sarah to come forward to the podium to be interviewed for a position on the youth commission. So please take a minute, introduce yourself, and share with us why you would like to serve on the Northglenn Youth Commission.
Hello, my name is Sarah. I am 16 years old and I am currently attending Westgate Community High School as a junior. And I am interested in joining the Youth Commission because my passion for health and medicine comes from the positive impact it has on people. So I want to use my voice to make a difference in my community and I believe serving on the Youth Commission helps me give back to the youth some valuable resources and programs.
Well, thank you very much. Is there anyone on council that has a question? See they just start clicking. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you so much, Sarah, for volunteering to be on the Youth Commission. I read through your application and I really loved the reasons that you put on there, like why you wanted to be a member of the Youth Commission. What do you think is going to be your focus, or if there's a certain focus area that you're really interested in or a passion that you think that you'll be able to push forward on the Youth Commission?
Yeah, so on my resume, I did focus a lot more on health and science related, like CPR or like first aid. But after hearing what some of the board members have been talking about, we have been leaning towards safe havens, which definitely caught my attention, and it feels a lot more impactful. So that's what I'm hoping for.
That is wonderful. Well, thank you so much for volunteering to be on the Youth Commission.
Thank you.
I don't have any other hands, so I just want to say thank you. Taking time out of your busy life to give back to your community is a pretty special thing, and I hope you enjoy. The Youth Commission has a pretty cool community, so I hope you make some friends and enjoy your time. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, moving into council communications, we will start with Ward 1, Councilmember Burns.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you so much to everyone who came out and spoke this evening. We really appreciate public engagement. It's a new year, and I don't really have much else to say because we had a ledge committee meeting that Mayor Pro Tem will report out on, and just thank you so much to staff for a great legislative dinner last week. State legislation starts on Wednesday, everybody, for a fun 120 days. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilmember Leidy?
I have nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Severs?
I'd like to thank everyone that came out tonight and spoke. Thank you all for coming out. Happy New Year. Obviously, I'm a new member of council. I'm very excited to get going. There's a lot to learn from all these folks and all of you. and I'm just looking forward to getting in the groove as we go along. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Nowicki?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As been said, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2026. Thanks to all the staff and elected officials who attended the dinner last week. Staff put on a great spread for us. It was much appreciated. On December 28th, I did a ride-along, so I really want to thank Officer Madison of the Northglenn Police Department. I think she did a spectacular job kind of with the residents and taking me around and showing me kind of exactly kind of what goes on. And you know, I was really appreciative to be a part of that and to meet some of the other officers and see kind of what goes on in their lives. I look forward to doing many other ride-alongs. Last Thursday, I also had the opportunity to attend the opening of the first ever in Colorado Smalls Sliders. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to get over there, get a burger. Probably not, because the lines have been incredibly long. So, but that's really exciting. So I do look forward when it's not as busy to get over there and get something. Excuse me. Lastly, we will be kind of shuffling around our board appointments. You'll see that on the consent agenda. So I do want to say thanks and goodbye to the Northglenn Senior Organization. I've served on that board for the last 2 years, and it's been great to meet the seniors in Northglenn, to be a part of the senior center, to be included, to share my family kind of with them. I hope Councilmember Goff enjoys meeting with them and having coffee. They always have coffee and donuts and all sorts of stuff. So it was, you know, it was really nice. But I really appreciated my time with them and wish nothing but great things for them and for you. So thank you. That is all for me.
Okay. Councilmember Goff?
Thank you, Mayor. So again, just to echo some of the things people have said about the legislative dinner last week, and again, to thank staff for organizing it and putting it together. And we had a really good turnout, so that was lots of information got shared back and forth. On January 8th, the DICE officers meeting, so I'll be on the DICE board again this coming year, 2 years, and we're starting to plan for our first meeting of the year. I'm looking forward to continuing the work that the DICE board has been doing. The Northglenn Senior Organization, I'm really looking forward to getting more involved in that. I enjoyed the January birthday celebration that they had last week. And then I'm also looking forward to be on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. One other thing I just kind of feel like needs to be at least mentioned, that we are living in some really uncertain times right now. There's so many things that have happened that I don't even know where to start, but I do want to comment on the tragic death of Renee Good in Minneapolis on January 7th. And I just want to remind our residents that our police department is trained to behave much better than what we saw happening there. They're trained to de-escalate, not escalate violence. And then I also want to give my condolences to her friends and family. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Roper?
Nothing to report tonight.
Thank you. Poor thing has no voice, but thank you for being here. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As everyone said, Happy New Year. It feels like we've been out of session for a while, so trying to catch up here. As everyone said, legislative dinner was a success. We had Congressman Evans actually showed up to our dinner, as well as our representative and our senator. So that was a really good turnout from the people that need to listen to us in terms of the bills that are going through this year. And boy, it's shaping up to be quite the year. But before I get to that, I would like to say that Lori Goldstein, who is on the Adams 12 Board of Directors, has officially been sworn in as a representative and has agreed to take the lead on our sex offender bill. I know that was a question that our residents had, so that will be moving forward this year. Stay tuned for more information on that. I did take a tour with Lori Goldstein, actually, of Future Forward at Bowman. It's a career and technical education high school in Thornton, and it actually reminded me when the youth commissioner spoke about being involved in healthcare and that sort of thing. Their expansion program is looking to shape up really nicely. They're adding more public-facing cosmetology services. So they have a cosmetology program, but with the expansions that are happening, they will be offering services to the public. So that's new. They have an amazing auto body shop that we got to tour and collision repair. And they also take public cars too. So if you have some minor repairs that need to happen, you can go there, and it gives the kids practice as well. Overall, it was just an amazing tour, and we got to see, Councilmember Kondo was part of that as well. We got to see all of the future expansions and where that bond money and mill levy money is going to, so that'll be very, very fruitful. Besides that, I also attended the very first grand opening of the Smalls Sliders, and you can see that from a mile away. It looks amazing. The food is great. The people there in charge, the manager, are just wonderful people. And apparently at night it looks really cool too. And I have to say it's orange, so go Broncos. That was definitely something that was important to me. And one of their values is bleed orange, which I picked up on right away. So they may be doing some work with the Broncos, hopefully in the future, which would be really cool. And then today we had our Legislative Policy Committee. As was mentioned, the session doesn't start until Wednesday, so we expect a lot more to happen at that point in time. But some of the things that we are keeping an eye on the federal level, of course, is potentially a looming shutdown on January 30th. So our lobbying team will be keeping us apprised of movement in that area. The ACA extension in Colorado is moving to the Senate, but there's a possibility that it may be vetoed, so we're keeping an eye on that as well. Other things that are happening, there are 5 new legislators. I believe one still has to be appointed, which is the vacancy that William Lindstedt left when he became the new senator after Faith Winter's passing. So that's still also up in the air. There's a lot of shifting on all the committees, as to be expected with a new session happening right now. The budget is still a big issue. Obviously, we're at about $800 million deficit, somewhere around there. Unresolved issues from 2025 will be coming up, as well as new issues budget-wise for 2026. Let's see, all of the House seats are up in 2026 and half of the Senate seats. So it's going to be a very big year. The governor will have the State of the State on Thursday at 11 a.m. if you want to tune into that. And then just some bills that we know are coming down the pipeline that we will be keeping an eye on. Flock is a huge area of discussion this year. So since we have flock cameras, that is something that we are looking to also keep an eye on, as well as get information to the public on how we use it, which we have a lot of guidelines around it just for public's, peace of mind. And possibly a new URA, Urban Renewal Authority TIF bill, which could be devastating. So as a member of the Urban Renewal Authority is something also that we'll need to keep an eye on. And there's much more, public safety, you name it, housing, on and on and on. And that's all I have. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I also want to say Happy New Year to staff and residents. We're excited to start 2026. I wanted to start by addressing public invited to be heard, especially because we have new people that have come tonight, so thank you. It may seem a little awkward at first because it is not a Q&A, it's not a conversation. So the way it's structured is we hear from you. If you are interested in a direct response, if you leave your contact information, we can follow up. One of the previous residents that spoke, I already had her contact information. She asked a couple of questions that I have the answers to, and I will be emailing her those. Staff takes notes anytime there's public invited to be heard, and we do follow up. So I know it can be awkward for first timers because we don't respond directly, but we do listen and we take notes, and we will come up with something. A couple people mentioned our new committee assignments, and I had actually written down as part of my communications to just thank council for being so cool. We just have the best council ever, because what that process looks like in some cities is it's just an assignment by the mayor, and we have a collaborative process here, and I so appreciate the collaboration. There's a give and a take. People focus on strengths so that we are putting the just right people as liaison and ex officio members to committees and boards throughout the city, and it really ultimately benefits our residents. But it's not very common in municipal leadership, and so I just want to say thank you. I'm very excited, and congratulations on all your new appointments. And then finally, I wanted to kind of add on to what the Mayor Pro Tem had said. So we have been very focused on the mental health transitional living facility and pushing forward a bill that will solidify our temporary agreement to ensure that registered sex offenders are not at that location. And we've been going back and forth a little bit. And so not only are newly sworn in Representative Goldstein will be supporting us, but also State Senator Kyle Mullica. And so those two will be sponsoring that bill, and council has committed to participating and testifying if necessary and continuing to stay active. And then we may put a call out to residents if we need some more testimony. So thank you. And I will toss it over to City Clerk Small.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do not have any updates tonight.
Okay. City Manager Geyer.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have a couple updates for you this evening. The first is a Family Justice Center Steering Committee update. The Steering Committee met this morning. They are working on two critical pieces. The first is the movement, the forward momentum that they have on the temporary location, which will be housed at the Human Services Building on Pecos Street. In Westminster, there's some logistical and administrative pieces that need to occur on the county side of things before they can start construction in the temporary space. However, they hope to do that within the first quarter. They are not giving a opening date as of yet, but I'll continue to keep council advised as that information is shared with the city. The second piece is they did receive support, the DA's office, that is, from the Board of County Commissioners to hire an executive director in 2026. And so District Attorney Mason did report out this morning that they've received about 50 applications, great applications for that position, and they're going to be engaging in a rolling interview process for that position. So those updates are being shared to let you know that they're continuing to make progress on the FJC. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know offline. The other piece I wanted to bring to your attention, because we just received this today, is that Adams County Board of County Commissioners sent out an ADCOG Regional Summit agenda, which is very detailed compared to the previous communications that they've shared. So as a reminder, this event is on Saturday, January 24th. It is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I do plan to attend. Please let McCall know if you plan to attend as well, and accept the invite link that you should have received via Outlook. If you did not receive an invite link, let McCall know ASAP, because we'll need to get you added. But these documents provide quite a bit of context in terms of what they're hoping the day to look like. Then the other piece, to echo a topic that the mayor just touched on, the mental health transitional living facility. We are aware that there was a stabbing at the facility last week. The police department is doing work on really looking at the elements of why that incident occurred. I had an internal meeting this afternoon with key staff in terms of reviewing that and figuring out next steps, and which point in time I'll advise council on what we'll do in terms of a response to that stabbing incident at the facility. So staff's aware, and we'll provide you more information once we have it. Thank you.
Thank you. And before I go to our attorney, I just want to let everyone know I would be in attendance at the Adams County event, but it conflicts with the Metro Mayor's retreat, and I am partly facilitating as vice chair, so I cannot attend the Adams County event. All the mayors tried to explain that there was a conflict, and they said, yes, we know, sorry. So you will notice that we will not be there, and that's unfortunate. So please go forth and have a great time. City Attorney Hoffman.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. Happy New Year, but I do not have any further updates.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving to the financial report, November 2025 update. We have Deputy City Manager Loveland. Welcome. That's a good idea.
There we go. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. So for you tonight, a fairly quick update on where things look like through November. I'll start off with a summary on our sales and use tax. This is again through October's collections that we receive in November. So we're a month behind. I can provide an update on more current information in a moment. So through November, sales and use tax was down 1.7% compared to the previous year. So those are just kind of our big buckets that you think of with sales and use tax. Drilling down a little bit into some other areas, auto use tax is down 1.8%. Food tax is up 4% through this period, and then marijuana tax is down over 10%. Marijuana tax continues that trend over the past few years of being down double digits. Food tax being up 4% is a positive continuation from being up 5% at the same time in the prior year. Of note, sales tax at this time last year was up 5.5%. So we really have seen quite a bit of drop off from November 2023, a big increase in 2024, and then the past 12 months, quite a bit of a slide. Only down 1.7%, but not trending as we've talked over the past several months anywhere that we're used to over the past 10 or 20 years. I'll go into the fund reports, starting off with the general fund. And total revenues through November are at $32.1 million. This is down about 2.5% compared to the previous year. You'll see in the taxes category, that's down 3.3% overall. You'll see property taxes up over 3.5%. One line item to note is the use tax. That carries one of our larger use taxes on construction. So building material use tax is down 50% compared to the previous year, which makes up that $500,000 deficit that you see over there on the right-hand side of the chart or the table. In other revenues, intergovernmental revenue is down 10%. To be expected, this carries our federal, state, and county grant awards. We knew that we'd be down from ARPA from 24 to 25, but all other intergovernmental revenues are flat with the exclusion of the grant funds. Licenses and permits, that's down about 27%. Again, that's due to lower levels of construction year over year. So right-of-way permits, building permits, electrical permits are major drivers in that line item. And again, those are down significantly. Charges for services at $3.3 million. That's actually up a little over 5%, 5.73%. Participation fees, so we'll talk rec center and theater, those are up around 11%. So good positive things going on over at that facility. Fines and forfeiture revenue shows up being 52%. $300,000 of that increase of $473,000 is one-time federal and state forfeiture revenues that we collect kind of on a one-time basis, depending on cases that are being settled. Investment earnings, those are down about 12%, which we'd expect with interest rates being lowered. The return on investments is just down compared to the previous year. So all in all, total revenues, again, down 2.5%. We had projected them to be up slightly, about 2%. So we're missing the mark, 4 to 4.5% in the general fund revenues through November. I said that I'd mention the sales tax with a more current update. These numbers just came in last week. We actually didn't have a very good November. Year over year, we're down over 3%. And so kind of that holiday push that you're hoping for to kind of get us over the hump actually ended up being one of our worst months in 2025. So more to come on that. We'll see what December produces. And when I do that report, hopefully I'll have those kind of final year-end numbers to report on the sales and use tax front. But nothing different than what's been going on for the last several months here locally, at the state level, kind of across the country, really, in a lot of ways. Any questions on general fund revenues before I jump into expenses? No?
I don't think so.
Okay. So on the expenditure side, on page 3, we have it broken down by department. That spending rate, kind of in the second shaded column, we're at 91% of the year. And you can see that we're at somewhere between 81 and 90% spending. So we're all in good shape as far as what we had planned to spend and what we are spending. So we're staying aligned there with what was planned in the budget. A couple of areas on the city manager side, staffing is influencing that increase year over year. And then as well on the police side, they're being fully / mostly staffed for a majority of the year, or is the reason why their spending is up 11%. But overall, spending is up 3%. We had budgeted for spending to be up 5%. So again, in line with what we planned for the year. I'll skip ahead to the water fund. Total revenues of $13.8 million and expenditures of $7.6 million. Again, on the expense side, everything's in line with what was planned. On the revenue side, you'll see water charges, really that's the service, is down a little over 4%. Consumption is down 5.5%. So a positive that we're consuming less water has an impact on the incoming revenues. But overall, the water fund is in good shape regarding its overall revenue. Collection rate, as you can see, is about 92%. And then on the spending rate, specifically on that expenditure side, on the operating side, capital outlay always has an impact depending on timing of big capital projects or other one-time expenditures. But spending down about 77%, we're in good shape there. On the wastewater side, total revenues are at $5.9 million, and expenditures about $3.6 million. Wastewater charges are up 3%. We had an increase with Carl's Farm development, and then a rate increase that influences that. So total revenue is up about 4.7% year over year. Operating expenditures, again, about 75% spent. So we're in good shape there. You'll see capital outlay and debt service expenditures included. The timing of the debt service expenditure happens on December 1st. The previous year happened on November 30th. So you can see a timing differential on why one year we spent 1.4 through this point versus the 300,000 this year. And again, that debt that was issued, that was for the lift station A and force main project several years ago. Those were issued by revenue bonds from the wastewater fund. Next, the stormwater fund, slightly over $443,000 in revenue and $395,000 of expenses. all things told, everything is in line with the budget. You'll see no real discrepancies on the revenue side or expenditure side. And then the last fund to go over is the sanitation fund. Total revenues just under $1.8 million and total expenditures just over 2.5. Again, both in line with budget, no major changes in any of the categories. You'll notice recycling revenue is down 33%. On a percentage basis, that's a big number, but it's about $15,000 to the fund in total. Skipping ahead, I'll skip pages 8, 9, and 10 and skip ahead to page 11, which is our sales and use tax collected by geographic code. Again, this is showing a 3-year history, 23, 24, 25, and then the change of 24 to 25. The top line is showing our out-of-state category, which really is kind of online shopping. You'll see that's up 12.8%, which is absolutely fantastic. The majority of the rest of the report, you'll see a percentage change that is in red, which is less than ideal. So we have some decreases in really all of our major shopping areas throughout the city. You'll see the total by geographic area, so sales tax is down 1.9%. If we do back out the out-of-state or the online shopping and just look at like the brick and mortar piece, we're down 6.4%. Unfortunately, that's been consistent the last several months, so no change or no rally there. But really keeping an eye on those things, trying to be optimistic that we'll see that lever turn and make some positive progress there. So we'll look forward to seeing what December has for us. That was all I had for the report. There's other pages and things if you have any questions, but for kind of a quick summary of November, I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
No questions? So I have a question real fast, because this comes up too frequently. If we have residents come and they're misunderstanding our budget and the way the reports are written and the timing of how numbers come in. Was there anything you heard tonight that you feel like we need to clarify for anyone that's listening?
I think that there may be misunderstanding in total revenues and expenditures for 2026. There are indeed at times with capital projects, we have kind of a pay-as-you-go approach where you accumulate funds and then spend. So when we do see reductions in reserve levels, one could conclude that these one-time projects are reducing reserve levels, which they are, but they have been accumulated. We're not underwater by any stretch. So I think that that's one thing that's important to note. I think other important notes, the BBB- rating was referring to NURA and their tax increment financing that they did. That was actually a decent bond rating for somebody who's not issued before. At that time, it was a few years ago, 2019, I believe. And then overall, the city bond rating is AA or AA-, depending on who you ask and what report you look at. I just wanted to put that out there. Also, from a transparency standpoint, we do have an open gov report. Some of that can be overwhelming. I totally understand that. I am available, as is my finance staff, to have conversations if there is any misunderstanding or confusion on any of the reports, whether it's kind of these high-level summary reports or digging deeper into the budget. Happy to talk to anybody in the community that would like to.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, we have the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Seconded.
Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote. Or please log in and then vote.
You should abstain.
Yeah, remember your password.
I will close that vote, and the consent agenda passes unanimously.
I will now open the public hearing on the Carl's Farm filing number 1, amendment number 7, subdivision final plat for the property located on the north side of 120th Avenue between Irma Drive and Race Street in the city of Northglenn, described as a replat of Lot 1, Carl's Farm filing number 1, amendment number 6. The Northglenn City Council has jurisdiction to conduct this hearing under the applicable provisions of its Home Rule Charter and Chapters 3 and 11 of the Northglenn Municipal Code. The procedure to be followed in this case will be as follows. City staff will give a brief outline of the nature of the application. The applicant may then present any evidence in support of the application. All persons opposed to the application shall then be entitled to present evidence. Any other interested persons shall be entitled to present public comment or evidence. The applicant may then present any rebuttal evidence. Council members may ask questions of staff, the applicant, and the public who testify. All witnesses will be placed under oath by the city clerk and may be cross-examined by any party, counsel for any party, or members of the city council. Are there any objections to the city council or the form or substance of these proceedings? Great. Hearing none, staff may give a brief outline. Interim Director of Planning and Development, Becky Smith, is here to provide staff's analysis of the application to council.
Good evening, council and mayor. Here tonight presenting the case analysis for CR 32, a plat and subdivision improvement agreement. The applicant is Dion's and Tula's, and they're requesting approval of the Carl's Farm filing number 1, amendment number 7 plat and subdivision improvement agreement. The reason this is here tonight is because there's public infrastructure associated with the plat, and so this would otherwise be an administrative review of the plat. This is just a vicinity map. The little blue dot shows the location north of 120th. This next slide is an aerial map zoomed in a little bit more. The red dot shows the actual site of the redevelopment. Some site data includes that the property is located on the north side of 120th in between Race and Irma Street. The site is currently undeveloped, and the acreage of the site will be 3.178 acres. Some more site characteristics, not repeating the ones that have already been stated, but this parcel is zoned or designated as planned development. It's part of the Carl's Farm plan development, and this parcel that's being considered is designated as a commercial use. The zoning surrounding the site includes PD to the north, east, and west, and then south of 120th, it is RS2 single-family residential, and this is just a zoning map that shows the zoning in the area in the context to the site, again designated with the red dot. For this public hearing tonight, notification was performed in accordance with the UDO. And the plat memorializes utility and drainage easements, as well as providing the lot lines and property measurements. There is public infrastructure required with this plat, which is why it also requires approval of a subdivision improvement agreement by City Council. And the plat is consistent with the UDO requirements. This is just a picture of the cover sheet of the plat. Oops. Some land use characteristics. The proposal for the development is actually for a restaurant. It will be for construction of a Dion's restaurant. And the applicant is here tonight and can speak to any specifics about the restaurant proposal. The public infrastructure improvements that are included with the plat is an 8-inch sewer line, a maintenance hole, a fire hydrant, and an 8-inch water line. The total cost estimate for these improvements is about $165,000. This just shows the utility plan and where the proposed water line and sewer line mains will be that the city would ultimately accept. And this is the approval criteria from the UDO. Staff did provide a thorough analysis, which is included in the Planning Commission memo included with your packets tonight. And staff did find that the proposed plat is consistent with the requirements and criteria in the UDO. The council options tonight are to approve the plat and SIA with or without conditions and stipulations, deny the plat and SIA for reasons stated, or table the plat for further consideration. The Planning Commission did review this case at their December 2nd Planning Commission meeting and is recommending approval as well as staff for CR 32. So at this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions. And as I mentioned earlier, the applicant is also here this evening.
Great. Councilmember Goff?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Acting Director. I'm asking this question kind of on the behalf of residents who might be listening, and it's sort of adjacent to what this is all about. But is this 2 restaurants or 1?
This is 1 restaurant.
Okay, because there's 2 names listed, so I was confused.
Yeah, the official name of the entity is Dion's and Tula's, but the restaurant that would be coming into Northglenn is a Dion's.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Everyone providing testimony on the application will be placed under oath. We will do that now as a group before the applicant makes their presentation. Is there anyone here to testify? Okay. The city clerk will place you under oath. Thank you. Are you the applicant?
Yes, I am.
Great. So you can present evidence in support of the application.
I can speak as to what Dion's is and what we're bringing to the community.
Yeah.
So my name is Mike. I'm the facilities director for Dion's, and we are a 30-restaurant chain. We have 28 Dion's and 2 sister restaurants, which are Tula's. We operate out of Albuquerque, and we have locations throughout New Mexico, West Texas, El Paso, and 3 in Colorado. This one, we're currently building another one in Green Valley Ranch, and then this one will be our 5th. We're really excited to hear about the Sliders restaurant and how busy the Canes is, and we're excited to be part of the community.
That's awesome. Are there any questions for the applicant? How's the pizza?
It's fantastic.
That's awesome. Okay. Is there anyone here opposed to the application? I didn't think so. Okay. Is there any other interested parties that would like to present public comment during this public hearing? Nope. Okay. Does council have any other questions for the applicant or staff? All right. Hearing none, I will close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. All right. Moving to resolution CR 32. Will the clerk please read the title?
A resolution approving the Carl's Farm Filing Number 1, Amendment Number 7, Subdivision Final Plat and Subdivision Improvement Agreement.
Move for approval. Second.
So our interim director of planning and development, Becky Smith, is still here. She has already provided a summary. Is there any discussion? No? Okay. Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I will close that vote, and CR 32 passes unanimously.
Thank you. Welcome to Northglenn. All right, CR 33. Will the clerk please read the title?
A resolution approving the allocation of the City of Northglenn's existing set-aside of Community Development Block Grant funds and the Program Year 2026 funds.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
All right, interim director of planning and development, Becky Smith, will provide a summary of this item. Hello again.
Hello. CR 33 is a resolution addressing the allocation of the Community Development Block Grant funds as you directed at the December 1st special meeting. We're proposing to allocate our existing CDBG fund balance of approximately $780,000 to the Odell Berry Park project. Additionally, when our program year 2026 allocation of around, we're estimating $210,000 becomes available in mid to late Q3 of this year, these funds will be earmarked for Northglenn food banks. We did confirm with Adams County that this approach works. However, the food banks will need to apply through a competitive process with a maximum of 15% of the county's total HUD grant available for public services in its entirety. So any unused 2026 funds can continue supporting the minor home repair program. Adams County has indicated that the resolution is sufficient to document our intended use and no amendments of our intergovernment agreement is required. And staff is recommending approval of CR 33. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Councilmember Goff.
Thank you, Mayor. My question concerns food banks when they do this competitive process. What kind of support is there for them? Is it either provided by our city or the county or?
Yeah, so we can reach out to the county and ask how they would recommend that, but I would think that we would want to do some sort of city support through the grant process or at least encouragement and let them know when that process is available for them to apply for funding at a minimum.
Thank you.
Councilmember Burns.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And just to quickly address Councilmember Goff's question, our former director, Svoboda, said that this county would help them, like hand in hand, as they applied. So there's no worry about that. Yeah, they were, I know the team had reached out. So thank you for that. And I just want to say thank you to staff and to the dais for splitting up these funds and thinking outside the box and thinking about community in more ways than one in allocating these dollars. I think, you know, this sort of popped up in an immediate need, but I think now we at least have some more future forward funding for our community no matter what happens in the next coming year. So I really appreciate it, all of you. Thank you.
Agreed. Councilmember Nowicki.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is just kind of a logistical question, kind of along the same lines. Is this something that is kind of separate, or is it kind of done through the outside agency funding committee? We know that.
I'm not sure I fully understand.
City Attorney Hoffman can
Yeah,
answer that.
this is not done through the outside agency committee. This is a program that the city is too small in population to do its own CDBG grant administration, so it works through the county's allocation.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Quick clarification question. I think I remember that even though it does go through the competitive process through the county, Northglenn still has a say in where those funds go. So they kind of vet them, but we also, or the city staff has a say in who gets those funds or who submits them.
I think that we might be able to participate, and I can confirm that with the county in the process of selection, but they do have a process already set up that they're using to select agencies that are considered public services. And so I know that there is already nonprofit organizations that do go to them annually to apply for these funds, and that the maximum the county can use of their entire funding buckets is 15%. So any requests coming from our community would have to fit within that 15% maximum.
Right. I think it was something Director Svoboda said, former Director Svoboda said. So I'll have to go back and watch that. But I thought there was some level of involvement. Yeah. Okay.
I know that the resolution, if it's approved tonight, that we forward to them does state that it is our preference for the funds to go to Northglenn Food Banks. So there is that statement, and then I can definitely follow up with the staff at the county to see what our...
And as was mentioned, thank you for this. This is wonderful.
Councilmember Leidy.
Sorry, I raised my hand really late. That was bad. As a former DICE board member, I just want to say thank you so much. I know this conversation and this project is a long time coming, so thank you so much for all the hard work that you've done, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Okay, thank you. Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I will close that vote, and CR 33 passes unanimously.
CR 34, will the clerk please read the title?
A resolution removing a member of the Historic Preservation Commission of Northglenn, Colorado.
Move for approval.
Seconded.
All right, I think you're back. One more time.
CR 34 is a resolution to remove a Historic Preservation Commission member for non-attendance. Member Weatherly hasn't attended meetings or communicated with the city for an extended period of time, which does meet the commission's bylaw definition of abandonment, which is 3 consecutive unexcused meetings or more. The commission unanimously recommended her removal on the October 29th, 2025 meeting, and staff recommends approval of CR 34. Happy to answer any questions.
Councilmember Goff?
Thank you. I guess I have a lot of questions tonight.
That's okay.
This has happened on other committees that I've been on where somebody just doesn't starts not showing up. Was any kind of outreach, or what was the outreach effort? Let's put it that way.
Yes. So the Historic Preservation Commission chair tried to initiate contact several times with no response, and so then reached out to staff, and staff has also tried to initiate contact with no response. And not just from the planning department or the liaisons department. My understanding is that the city clerk's office has also reached out to try to understand what their desire is to continue with the board.
But it's not any concern about like a wellness check or anything like that. She's just not answering.
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
I wanted to add that there was a period of time where her service was really appreciated and she did some really good work. I did also reach out because I had her number and I did not hear back either. So I support this and I will vote yes. Any other questions? Okay, please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I will close that vote, and CR 34 passes unanimously.
Thank you. Discussion items tonight, City Council Quarterly Agenda Planning. City Manager Heather Geyer will present this item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this discussion item this evening, at the heart of it is to make sure that we are all on the same page of how we move forward into the spring timeframe in terms of what is on the tentative future agendas. It's an opportunity to benefit the newer council members, to ask questions, seek clarification. Typically, we don't use this as an opportunity to add new things to the tentative future agendas. Those are typically routed through council protocol at other meetings under council communication. So just wanted to elevate that for your benefit. We are discussing the items that are scheduled through April 13th. Always subject to change. You'll see that we move things around based on timing of different topics and so forth, but that is the focus of tonight. I always include the upcoming discussions beyond tonight's meeting, and you see those dates before you in terms of what comes after April 13th. We'll have this discussion 3 more times this year. In terms of upcoming meetings, on the front end of the year, we always have 2 cancellations in celebration of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, as well as President's Day. So we do lose 2 meeting opportunities, and that's why we shift things around where sometimes discussion items can be a bit heavier on other agendas than not. Anytime post-election, we always have a city council team building event as well, so that is scheduled for January 31st. I'll pause there and see if Mayor Leidy wants to say anything about the council team building.
It's going to be fun. I'm actually really excited, but there's some surprises, so I don't want to give it away. I would say wear comfortable shoes and get ready to have fun.
I believe we gave you a preview of the theme, Mission Possible.
Mission Possible, yep.
Stay tuned. We also have for February 21st what we've renamed. Formerly, it was Global Redevelopment Retreat. Allison Modine, our Director of Economic Development, added her touch to that title, and we have renamed it to Accelerate Development Retreat. And the purpose of that retreat is going to be a fun-filled day of you will also need comfortable walking shoes. We are going to dive into really creating and figuring out what your vision for the Civic Campus looks like, as well as prioritization of redevelopment areas and development opportunities as a whole in Northglenn. And so we are knee-deep in figuring out logistics for that day, but it's going to be a fun-filled day where we're not going to be here in Northglenn. We'll end up back in Northglenn, but we are going to be in surrounding communities, exploring downtowns, and you're going to be asked to be very hands-on in terms of taking pictures and really taking in the spaces that we're going to explore, and have all of that help inform what you will then on that day communicate to us as, these are the things, this is my vision, what I'd like to see for our Civic Center and for development opportunities moving forward in Northglenn. Diving into the agendas, January 26th, on the next couple of slides, this is where I typically outline what's on the tentative future agendas as of today. We will have some board and commission appointments. The big topic, two big topics on January 26th includes bringing back per council direction from November 17th discussion, amendments to the public facilities standards discussion, as well as we'll have the first conversation of a multi-part meeting conversation about code enforcement. We touched on the council team building. In terms of February 2nd, that study session is going to include, I'm going to combine several topics. It's really going to have a focus on use of data, continuous improvement, the work to date on our innovation team, future-proofing, and customer service expectations. The really fun part about it is we're going to have Megan Williams, who's the director of the Denver Peak Academy program, come and speak to council and give you an introduction to the work of the Denver Peak Academy program and how that is not only being a source of inspiration for how we're building our innovation team, but really figuring out what does continuous improvement look like for Northglenn moving forward. On February 9th, we're going to hear a presentation by a staff member from the State Demographer's Office on population projections, migration trends, going to really get nerdy on all of those pieces of the shifts that we're seeing within the state, but drill down to Adams County. There are some limits to how far they can go at a micro level with Northglenn specific data, but we believe that'll help inform the work ahead of us this year. We're also going to hear a financial report, and then right now I have this slated as a tentative date to bring forward a contract for the communications and marketing assessment work. We have 5 interviews scheduled. I believe it's January 21st, if I have that date right, by the subcommittee, and so hope to have the logistics of a contract worked out and have that brought to council on that date. We'll also bring forward a conversation about ward meetings for 2026. And then we talked about the Accelerate Development Retreat. Moving into February, on the February 23rd, date, we will have a Youth Resource Assessment Center presentation by Becky Hoffman, who's the interim director of this program. This program used to be referred to as the Youth Link program and has gone through rebranding and new oversight and restructuring. It's been, the DA's office stepped in and took over this group to get it back on track. And so that'll be a timely presentation for you. We'll also do a check-in on the 2026 budget, as well as have a presentation on the Arts and Humanities Foundation per capita funding request, which is an annual ask. We have a dinner that is a new addition to the agenda this year. The Board of County Commissioners have requested to have a dinner with each of the localities. And so the March 2nd date was the best date that we could find to accommodate that request. I do not have a specific agenda at this point in time, but once we have more information on that, I'll be sure to share it with council. The stepping back just one meeting to February 23rd, as of today, we are going to add a second code enforcement conversation to that agenda. And then jumping forward to March 16th, we'll add a third code enforcement conversation to that meeting. Right now, March 9th, we will shift things around and things will come up in the days ahead. But right now, that is a meeting where there's items to be determined. March 23rd is also a pretty light meeting at this point in time, but like I said, that'll shift. And then moving into April, this is always a really exciting event to host here locally in City Hall. It's the Adams County Mayors and Commissioners Youth Awards Program. Based on feedback, I can tell you that Jenna Gregg, our our volunteer coordinator, she's working on all the logistics for that event, and we are making some enhancements to that evening to make it an even more enjoyable evening to recognize the many youth in our community who have faced significant adversity in their lives. And so with that, what I ask for is consensus from council based on the tentative future agendas to date. It's not a vote, it's thumbs up consensus, head nods, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay, perfect, thank you.
Sorry. Public invited to be heard is one less opportunity for public comment. Statements are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Comments must be related to an item previously addressed by council during the meeting. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to council at this time? Okay. There being no further business, we are adjourned. Have a great evening, everyone.